Well, if I think about historic cars, I think of Porsches, and I think of Dr. Ferry Porsche and the original 911, and how out on a limb he was, and how today it's basically the same car on the road. And fundamentally, not much has changed. And for me, the Porsche is the pièce de résistance of classic cars. I'm a huge Jerry Seinfeld fan. I love his show, and I love the fact that he loves Porsches, and I wish I could afford to buy some of the Porsches that he has. And I know a lot of people from Porsche and have known them over the years, and I like their work ethic and I like their simplicity. When I say simplicity, I like the straightforward approach to engineering that they have. There's nothing too glitzy about it. I've never been a Ferrari fan. You probably don't want to use this in the video, but I'm not a Ferrari fan purely because Jim Clark never drove for Ferrari, and so they were always the opposition for me. And Lotus for me is the ultimate brand. And I don't know if you have any Lotuses here, but yeah, to me, Colin Chapman, his ability to build race-winning, championship-winning Grand Prix cars while simultaneously producing cars like the Lotus Elan and the Lotus Elite before that, and the Lotus 7 and the Lotus Cortina. To me, we've not really seen Colin Chapman's like at all. I think he still stands on a pedestal in what he achieved. I just wish he'd got somebody like Mazda to produce them all so they didn't fall apart all the time. But the actual design of them was great. It was just the execution. From the showroom you have here, if you said, Peter, you can have one car, choose the car, I'd take that little McLaren M4B, to be honest, the racing car. I love that car. I saw Piers Courage driving John Coombs' M4A McLaren in the '68 International 100 at Warwick Farm. He finished a brilliant third. I loved that car. I was a huge Bruce McLaren fan, still am. And that car to me it's a monocoque chassis, but it's a small, agile racing car. So yeah, if you could wrap that, please, with a nice ribbon around it, I'll take it home. Well, unsurprisingly, I've got two Lotus Elans. I bought one of them in 1974 when I just came over from Australia to England. I bought it out of a classic car magazine for £700. And after I bought it, I got the original logbook out of a glove box, opened it up to see that the first owner was Jim Clark's manager, Ian Scott Watson. So I immediately wrote to Ian Scott Watson and said, I've just bought this car, does it have any history? And he said, oh yeah, I know that car. Jimmy used to drive it a lot when he came up to Scotland. So I've still got that Elan and it's still perfect. And I was lucky enough to buy the yellow Elan, left-hand drive Elan that Jim Clark actually did own and drove himself in Europe throughout 1967 when he was living in Paris because of tax exile reasons. And that car he drove to the Belgian, Dutch, French and German Grand Prix and also a couple of Formula 2 races. And he then passed it on to Jabby Crombach, his very close friend with whom he was living and sharing a flat in Paris. And when Jabby sold it to me, he included a little card and he said, in '67, Jimmy always said that he rediscovered the pleasure of motoring in this yellow Elan. Enjoy. So I've got all that and I love that. And I'm doing up a Mark I Lotus Cortina right now. And in London right now, around the town, I drive a 3-cylinder Toyota Aygo. I don't know if you have them here, four-door, because I got a little boy who's 4 and we need a 4-door car. But the Toyota Aygo is a brilliant car for London. Yeah, I'm not a fan of big 4-wheel drives, SUVs. I just don't see the point really. And to me, I like small. I'm a Colin Chapman guy. I like low center of gravity, small and light. And I was interested to hear Lewis Hamilton kind of agree with the other day when he was criticizing the new Formula 1 regulations, saying they're going to heavier cars. What's that all about? Racing cars should be getting lighter and lighter, not heavier and heavier. And I think he's right. But in road cars, they do get heavier. They got heavier and bigger. And that's very annoying, really. Oh, it's wonderful to be here at Dutton's. I'm not that surprised because I knew it would be that good. My friend John Clark has given me a really good build-up, and I suppose I don't know if you know Joe Macari, but he's a friend of mine in England. He's got a similar showroom, not as big as this, but similar, and he's very much a Ferrari dealer. But he has other cars as well. So I use that a lot for filming for my YouTube channel, and you're very kindly today going to let me do the same thing. And the reason is, feel right at home here. You know, we're with racing people, car people, surrounded by wonderful history and wonderful ghosts.